One of my friends and I were talking about what I like to call the shiny rock syndrome. And that's basically when you go after the flashiest thing you can see and don't look further to find out whether or not there's something of substance available for you. You know, you see that all the time. You see a guy who will go after a girl, doesn't even investigate what kind of person she is, but he sees that body and he's got to have some of that. And then he finds out later on she's crazy, or he finds out later on that she's dealing with a bunch of other dudes, or even if it's something that's not as bad as that, at the very minimum, she's not compatible with him. And he basically stepped over women that would have been compatible with him just because her body was, woo, I got to get that. And women do the same thing. Now, I've seen guys who are just really cool dudes who got stepped over for the guy with the swag, you know, and and the same thing happened to them. They found out that the guy wasn't compatible, or they found out the guy was unfaithful, or they found out a myriad of other things that made it just a bad choice. It's the shiny rock syndrome. Everybody falls prey to it at some point, or to some degree, you know. And when I say shiny rock syndrome, it's like, say you're looking for something and you see the shiny rock on the ground and you walk over and you pick it up and you go, oh man, this is the best. Look at it. I can see this from across the room. This is the best. I'm going to go and I'm going to sell this and this is going to be valuable. And then you find out later on it's not worth anything. And then you find out that the person that came after you ignored the shiny rock and said, you know, I want to find out what's in here. And they dug a little deeper than you did and they found diamonds. That's a metaphor for what happens to many people, right? You know, you see people that will pick somebody and everyone else knows that this is just not a good idea, but they won't listen. And then you see another person pick up something and they'll go, oh man, that ain't nothing. Look what I got. My rock is shiny. Look how dusty that thing is. And you don't realize that that person has an unpolished diamond. See, an unpolished diamond doesn't look like much. It just looks like another rock until it's in the hands of someone who knows what to do with it. Then it becomes polished. And once it's polished, it then has a value that everybody can see, and a brilliance that everybody can see, and you're rich for having it. That's the same thing with people. You know, I mean, the friend that I was talking to is now happily married to a beautiful lady, and it's great because she saw the unpolished diamond that was him. Now, I'm not saying you have to fix other people, but you have to realize that people grow, evolve, and learn and change over time. They may be polishing themselves. You can just sit back and groove to the fact that they're polishing themselves and enjoy the fruits of that, you know. And he made the mistake of going after the, you know, the quote hotties, unquote. And I've seen lady friends that made the mistake of going after the guy with the swag. And there's nothing wrong with swag, because I would have to say that I can't say there's something wrong with swag, because when I was that age, when I was a younger guy, I was that guy. Okay, so he'll be hypocritical of me to act like, you know, something wrong with it when that's who I was at the time. But there was one difference. I never cheated on anybody. I never hurt anybody. I never hit anybody. I never did any of the kind of stuff that, you know, you would think of a quote thug unquote would do. Because I hung out with the thugs, but I didn't go, you know, do really bad stuff. I didn't do that. But you have to think about swag in different terms, because essentially all swag is just an overt expression of alpha maleness. And that's why they're the shiny rock to women. They see that guy, got the thing, got the tattoo, he got this, he got that, he got the muscles, he got that, and they go after that. Now, there's nothing wrong with it, because there's plenty of guys like that, and I was one of them, who were actually nice cats. It just happened to look like that guy. And if you find that cat, that's great. You did good. But in many cases, the alpha male display, the overt alpha male display, you know, is a little off, because we're human beings, and some of the stuff that is displayed as alpha maleness doesn't necessarily work, because, you know, this is not the animal kingdom. You know, the biggest, strongest, toughest person doesn't win in the human kingdom. It doesn't work that way. You know, all the stuff that makes the tough guy alpha maleness, beating somebody's ass, bullying people, moving around, threatening people, all of that stuff, that just gets you thrown in jail. That's all it does. The really powerful people is usually some old pudgy guy who lives in a house in a big house somewhere, or he works in government. He has the power. I mean, you may be able to kick his ass in a street fight, but he can have you thrown out of your house, and he can take your whole neighborhood and turn it into a parking lot, and he has connections that can crush your ass. Alpha maleness in human beings is about having real power, being able to pay your bills, owning your house, being the good person to people around you, having a lot of friends who would jump in front of a bullet for you because they love you so much. That's real power nowadays. It's not kicking somebody's ass, and it just doesn't work that way. So you have to find a combination of the two. You have to find the guy who can whoop some ass and who has the ability to, pay the bills and do all the good stuff and have the good friends and all that, because that's the perfect combination. It just doesn't work. Whooping people's ass just doesn't work anymore. The tough guy thing is cool, but as soon as you go out of the neighborhood, and I know this for a fact, because I used to, like I said, I used to hang out with the tough guys, man. And, to hang out with the tough guys, they have to see you whooping some ass every once in a while, so they won't try you. So I had to whoop a few asses. I'm not proud of it, but I didn't have any choice. I had to whoop a few people's ass, just to hang out with these guys so they leave me the hell alone. But you have to realize that's not the way to go, because as soon as you leave the neighborhood, you go out into the real world, you find out that all of the things that made you a superstar where you were don't mean a damn thing anyplace else. I would go out of the neighborhood with my boys, and we would go and hang out, and they're all, oh yeah, man, I'm the man, and they would be all tough and everything. And what would happen is somebody behind the counter would just kind of do a little secretive nod to the door, and 75 police officers would come in and drag your ass out. Now back in the hood, that's cool. It's like, oh, these guys are the greatest. But when you get outside, man, it is not like that. You will get your ass whooped with a quickness. So you have to be careful about that. So I sum this up by saying, don't always pick the shiny rock. Don't always go with, the tough guy, who's got the swag. Investigate this cat first. Swag is cool, but investigate the person behind the swag and see if there's anything back there. See if it's not just one of those Wizard of Oz things. Do not look at the man behind the curtain, because it might be just a dude back there who's scared, or maybe a dude that's not going to go anywhere. But if he's a cool dude and he has swag, ladies, go for it. And for guys, don't just go for the big butt and the big boobs, even though I love big butts and big boobs. I also like little butts and little boobs. I just like naked women. Okay, but back to the story. Don't just go to that. Investigate first. You don't want to waste years with somebody and find out they're not who you thought they were. I've already been through that. You don't want to go through that. So do not be so happy to pick up the shiny rock. Look deeper. Make sure you look and find diamonds, because diamonds are valuable. Shiny rocks aren't worth shit. See you.